Your media really stood up for you in a brave way this week in the White House press briefing. Check out what they decided to grill Sarah Huckabee Sanders over.
Yeah. Sarah, you've said repeatedly that we've addressed our feelings on that situation in regards to the Stormy Daniels payment. But specifically, can I ask, did the president approve of the payment that was made in October of 2016 by his longtime lawyer and advisor, Michael Cohen?
Look, the president has addressed these directly and made very well clear that none of these allegations are true. This case has already been won in arbitration, and anything beyond that, I would refer you to the president's outside counsel.
When did the president address specifically the cash payment that was made in October of 2016?
The president has denied the allegations against him. And again, this case has already been won in arbitration. Anything beyond that, I would refer you to outside counsel.
Did he know about that payment at the time, though?
I've addressed this as far as I can go.
Did he know about the payment at the time?
Not that I'm aware of. And again, anything beyond what I've already given you, I would refer you to the president's outside counsel.
Steve? Michael Cohen about that, since this has become a news story this week. Has he talked to Michael Cohen about it? If I can just ask one more thing.
I'm sorry?
Has he talked to Michael Cohen about that this week since this has become news?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, Sarah,
So let me give you a little bit of backstory of what they're talking about here. Donald Trump allegedly paid like $130,000 to Stormy Daniels to shut up about the affair that they had. But what we learned this week is apparently Michael Cohen, his lawyer, paid the $130,000 to Stormy Daniels, and now Cohen is arguing he didn't get reimbursed by Trump yet. So obviously this is the kind of story that corporate media is going to nut on themselves over because it's got everything you want about a Trump story. In terms of sensationalism, they get to talk about how Donald Trump had an affair with Stormy Daniels. They get to talk about how Donald Trump went back on his word even to his close inner circle because he didn't reimburse his lawyer who allegedly made the payment. This is the exact kind of story that corporate media would nut on themselves over, but also the exact kind of story that I could not give a fuck about. Do I think Donald Trump had an affair? Yeah. There's already multiple stories. There's Stormy Daniels. There's Karen McDougal is another one. But I don't care. I don't care because I wouldn't care. I always try to look at it as, how would I feel about the story if it was about a politician I like and agree with? So if this was about Bernie Sanders and we heard Bernie Sanders had an affair, I'd be like, I feel bad for Jane, but what am I supposed to do? Not be for Medicare for all and for Bernie's political agenda because of that? So to me, this is all a distraction. If you actually care about policy, this is by definition a distraction because it's not policy related, it's personal life related. Now, I think it's a fair point if you argue, hey man, the evangelicals are beyond hypocritical. Beyond hypocritical. Because all they do is fucking yelp from the mountaintops about how we want somebody with upright moral character who believes in family values. And it's not us saying it, they say it about themselves. They used to say, oh, Bill Clinton, he had an affair, he had a blowjob from somebody at the White House. Oh my God, terrible, worst thing ever. Impeach him, impeach him. And now all of a sudden they're like, meh, we don't mind it when it's Trump because we like Trump. So you could point out the hypocrisy of them. I agree with that totally. In fact, we did a segment about Dennis Prager, who says he's a Bible-believing Jew. And, he was like, the reason I support Trump is because he's so flawed. Oh, well, what the fuck is this bullshit? He says the more religious you are, the more likely you are to support Trump because you actually take the Bible seriously. That was his argument. And it's like, dude, stop. You're just rationalizing and working backwards from your conclusion. You know, if it was a Democrat who was similarly flawed in a personal way, you would shit all over him. So it's just stupid and dumb. And you could point out the hypocrisy of the evangelicals. But outside of that, I don't care. And the reason I wanted to show you this clip is, I don't know if you noticed it, but did you notice how many follow-ups were asked? 4 follow-up questions were asked. I'm sorry, 4 questions in total were asked. So the first question and 3 follow-ups. I'm going to put out a challenge to all of you. Try to find a single instance in any White House press briefing going back for the last few administrations. Go back to Bush, go back to Obama. Find me an instance where there were 4 questions back to back grilling somebody on an issue that mattered. Find me that. Find me a clip of them grilling somebody over their ties to Wall Street. Find me a clip of a journalist grilling somebody over their ties to the military-industrial complex. Find me a clip of any kind of pointed questioning where they don't let them off the hook over something related to the economy or regulation or endless war or healthcare. You're not going to find it. You're not going to find it. So this is part of my frustration about the mainstream media, is that they are tough as nails on things that don't matter. When things do matter, they're soft as the Pillsbury Doughboy. And I saw this the other day with Sarah Huckabee Sanders. It's not Sarah Huckabee Sanders, I'm sorry. With Erin Burnett. Erin Burnett was grilling somebody who was in Trump's administration, Sam Nunberg, however the fuck you say it. And she was saying, I smell alcohol on your breath right now. And was just fucking grilling him. And what you'll notice is, whenever it's the sensationalized stories, oh my God, they're all over it like a fly on shit. And they'll be tough and they'll grill. But when it's policy issues, they don't even talk about them. Never mind talking about them and then grilling people in power over them. And that's what's so pathetic. And by the way, that's why certain people rise through the ranks. That's why Wolf Blitzer gets 1,000 hours on CNN on a daily basis. Because he's the type of person who's not going to rock the boat about the shit related to policy. But, you know, hey, he'll do some tough questions over some nonsense like Stormy Daniels. So they're just misfiring. The media just constantly misfires, and it makes it so easy for Trump and the Republicans to say fake news, fake news, fake news, because you look like unserious people when you're grilling over Stormy Daniels, you know? And I get it. There are partisan Democrats out there who think this is the biggest story in the world, but compare the amount of coverage this got versus the deregulation bill that just got through the procedural vote and now is getting a vote in the Senate. You do understand that 12 Democrats voted to deregulate Wall Street again, along with virtually every Republican. So that's the shit where I want the 3 follow-up questions and the not letting them off the hook. You know, that's the shit where you go, whoa, this is going to lead to a crash, the same that just happened in 2008. Do you not realize that? Hey, why does the president or why does this senator or this congressperson take X amount of money from, you know, Deutsche Bank or HSBC and they benefit from this bill? So that's the shit you got to grill them over. And what we see is they're always pushing sensationalism bullshit stories. And then they're also always getting trolled by Republicans. I saw a good video the other day on this where they explain what's going on. Like, remember when there was the dueling memo wars? By the way, how are we all talking about that now? No. I didn't even talk about it at the time. Why? Because I knew it was a nothing story, and I knew it would all, you know, evaporate into nothingness. Because the Republicans released a memo saying, oh, we are going to question Mueller's, ability to do the job. It was a partisan memo that they wrote, and then they released it like it was this big thing like, ooh, bombshell. And then the Democrats released their own fucking memo that was like, no, everything in the other memo was wrong, and Mueller's doing a great job. And it was 2 weeks of nonstop coverage on all of cable news. That's all they talked about. The memo. Should they release the memo? I don't know. Should they release the memo? Should they release the memo? Should they release the memo? And then all this buildup, all this speculation, all this nonsense, just fucking white noise coming at you all day. And then they get released. Both the memos were a dud. It was obvious that the Republican won back the Republican narrative, the Democratic won back the Democratic narrative, just partisan memos. So, but that's all they covered for 2 fucking weeks because there was sensationalism involved. So you could hype it up. You could speculate endlessly without talking about facts and without talking about, how people's lives are being affected by our current state of affairs in America with our, insane level of corruption. And it's just, this is why people don't trust mainstream media. And this is why you've opened the door for outlets like mine and other new media outlets to step in and fill the gap. And of course, they have to fight back against us in an unfair way with YouTube cracking down and all that stuff. But 3 follow-up questions over fucking Stormy Daniels. I'm not sure there's ever been 3 follow-up questions over a question involving the military-industrial complex or Wall Street or Medicare for All. It's just sad. Your media has abdicated their responsibility to hold the people in power in check and hold them accountable. The only time they hold them accountable is when it doesn't fucking matter, like about Stormy Daniels.